Hello, and welcome to SOCI 3311, Sociological Statistics, online, fall 2013. My name is Steve Blanchard. I am the instructor in the course. I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about a couple of things, a little bit about myself and a little bit more about the course itself. This is an introductory welcome to the course video. There'll be a lot more lengthier videos as we go through the semester. There'll be another one more lengthy than this, that first week, that will really lay out in more detail what we're going to do all semester. I've been with the university about 20 years. I have a PhD in sociology. I got my degree at the University of Texas in Austin at the Population Research Center. It's an NIH, National Institutes of Health funded place. I'm a trained demographer as a result of graduating from there. Out of those 57 hours of graduate study, I would guess maybe 40 some odd hours were statistics. So even though I'm not formally a statistician in the sense of a PhD, I have quite a bit of statistics in my academic preparation. I've been teaching this course now every fall since I've been here at the Lake, now going on 20 years. Statistics is what I do. I'm a mechanic, if you will, in the community. I do a lot of pro bono in community work with hospitals and health organizations, helping them figure out variables and indicators and how to measure them and things like that. So I'm applied statistician as well as somewhat more theoretical. I teach a number of different kinds of courses, but I can tell you that statistics is my favorite course, and I hope my enthusiasm for this course will spill over into enthusiasm for you. I'm sure many of you are taking this course not so much because you want to, but because you have to. But I think you will find by the end of the semester you will be glad that you took this course. Let's talk a little bit about the course itself. We're going to take a couple of approaches here. They're complementary. We're going to be conceptual and practical. I think more than anything, I want you to come out of this course with a clear understanding of the concepts of statistics, sort of a critical thinking approach to statistics, why we do this, what's to be gained by doing it, what are the assumptions of statistics. Think of statistics as a language like English or Spanish or, if I may, Swahili, another way of humans use to summarize, interpret, and convey meaning in our social environment. It is a language that, in that sense, that's spoken by sociologists, criminal justice, political sciences, social service workers. It is the language, if you were to go to medical school or nursing school or dental school, it's exactly the same statistics as what you will get here. It is a common language. It has just a little bit different context for its application, but it's basically the same statistics no matter where you end up after your graduation, I should say. Statistics emerged in the 19th century as a part of the social reform movement. If you have read a Charles Dickens novel, put your mind and imagination inside of England or London in 1850 and see the economic disparity and health disparities that are there. The social reformers were trying to figure out how to understand those differences that they saw, those differentials in wealth, try and understand them in a way that they could convey it and talk about it, perhaps make changes in it in some way to even out the playing field. Much of what they talked about are things that we talk about now. Language then, our statistics became a language of the social reform movement for measuring those differences that they saw and evaluating them, trying to understand why in one neighborhood a group of people in that neighborhood died at a much higher rate than a people on the same cause of death in another neighborhood, trying to understand that. They were concerned about the state of society, the state of the populations within segments of society, the status, the states, the statistics. So out of that kind of thinking, shall we say, an approach, came the term statistics for measuring the differentials that we see, and not just measuring them, but even explaining them, and not just explaining them, but predicting them as well. There are a number of student learning outcomes which you'll see as you go through the syllabus. That's what this is here. It's posted up on Blackboard. The sociological imagination is the chief program outcome. And sociological imagination is a way of envisioning how it is that each of us came to be who we are, passing through the context. Who am I, Steve Blanchard, a product of my family, a product of my ethnicity, a product of my gender, a product of the year that I was born, 1940s, and all of the things that's happened in my life in the last 70 years. Those contexts, that's the sociological imagination. How each of us influenced in who we are by the various contexts of our lives. The other overall one is just understanding how to use sociological techniques for interpreting and sort of as methodology for interpreting and understanding the world. Statistics is one of those tools which we'll do this semester. The other outcomes are practice. You'll have plenty of practice, both conceptually to talk about that and practice and actually doing homework. The knowledge of statistics, you'll be pretty good rookies, but pretty good statisticians by the end of the semester. You'll be proficient in the use of statistics, and you're being able to talk about why we do statistics. And an important piece is the value and attitude about doing statistics. What right, shall we say, that we have to take the social phenomenon, the manifestation of hearts of somebody else or some other population, and capture them in equations and measure them? What right do we have to do that? Well, maybe we don't. But then again, maybe we do. But for sure what we have to do when we think about statistics, like we would in anything, just like you would hold me in regard, or I would hold you in regard in conversation, take you into account as you would take me into account. We want to take the human element into account as we do our mathematics and in our equations, realizing that what we're doing is we're measuring human phenomena. We're measuring the manifestations of people's hearts in that sense. So we want to be mindful of that and careful and ethical. The means of assessment, there'll be 10 homework assignments coming up about every week or every other week. They'll be posted on Blackboard. You'll do the homework and then post the outcome on Blackboard, and I'll grade on Blackboard. Homework will be posted about a week in advance, so you can see the homework for the topic coming up the following week, just as you will know the chapter of the book coming up the following week. We will have 5 exams, half conceptual, half statistics. It will be mostly multiple choice, each one of the exams, but there'll be a little bit of number crunching, 1 or 2 problems at the end, small, just to demonstrate capacity. The course is organized along the basic principles, basic organizational logic progressive principle of statistics. And that is that we move from descriptive to explanatory to predictive statistics. We use descriptive statistics to explain averages and means and rates and ratios. If you're not familiar with those terms, you will be after about the first couple of weeks. If we have an outcome here, let's say income, we're trying to explain why income goes up and down. Why do we not all have the same amount of income? And over here on the right-hand side, we might have education, that we think that as education goes up, income goes up. So what we would want to do is look at the average income, the average education, and descriptive statistics, and kind of get the internal dynamics of those 2 terms or variables. Either variables because we don't all have the same level of education, it varies, and we don't all have the same income. We'll talk more about those concepts in a couple of weeks, or the first week. So that's descriptive. Explanatory would be, how do we explain the variation in income? Can we explain by seeing the variation in education that there's a variation in income? As education goes up, income goes up. So in that sense, we're explaining the rise in income by the rise in education. So we'll talk about explanatory variables and explanatory techniques, ways of capturing that kind of a relationship. The third piece we'll do is predictive. For every change in income or education, can we predict how much income will change? Can we predict that? Not just explain it, but actually predict. For each incremental change in education, what can we predict for each incremental change, a comparable incremental change in income? That's predictive statistics, and we'll work our way through that towards the end of the semester. The overall umbrella statistic that we're doing is inferential. There are places and ways that we do things with all the data there in front of us. But for the most part, what we do in statistics is we estimate what we would like to know about the population. Take San Antonio, for example, 1 million people. We haven't time. Let's say we wanted to know what the average education is in the community. We haven't time to go to everybody in the community, all 1 million people. We just don't have time to do that. Census does it about every 10 years. But we don't have time to do that as researchers and practitioners. So we would draw down a sample that is representative, and we'll talk about that later in the semester. And then we would ask questions of the sample and get the average of the sample age. And then we would infer that had we gone from the population to the parameter, which is the average education that we wanted from the population, we get that average education from the sample, then we can infer that if we had gone from population to parameter, we would have gotten basically what we got by asking the sample their average education. That's inferential statistics. Everything we do in this class, descriptive, explanatory, and predictive, is in the context of inferential statistics. So that's in a nutshell what we're going to do. Again, you may be doing this course because you got to do it. Maybe some of you are here because you want to do it. I think you'll see as you get into the course, you all are going to want to do it. All of you will want to do it. You'll be glad that you've taken the class. I'm confident that you can do this. And we're going to be doing it online. It'll be a little bit different kind of way, but with these videos and all, we'll try and get as close to classroom engagement as we can. There'll be a bit of a discussion, not a graded discussion, but a discussion posting like a bulletin board to answer questions and post questions and things like that each week to kind of make sure everybody's on the same path. You can post questions, I'll respond to them, and that sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to working with you, and it's going to be a good semester. And anyway, I'll be back in touch with the next video, the actual first week of the course. You take care.